Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Discord Discourse, our podcast, of course. And I'm Versionary, one of your hosts.
And I'm Lance Montenegro.
I'm Isaac Espirito.
I'm Richard Cultura.
And seeing as the objective of our podcast is to uncover what it's like being a Pisay scholar outside of the stereotypes of other people, like how we're robots designed for academic excellence and to fulfill our core values. Should we talk about our personal experiences? I mean, that's important, right?
Yeah.
I think it's better to give what we had in mind of Pisay before we even entered Pisay.
Yeah, that's right. What were we like? What were we like before we were students? I don't even remember myself.
Lan, so do you think what was in your mind when you thought of Pisay when you were in grade 6?
I first heard of Pisay when I was in first quarter of sixth grade, and then when I heard about it, this is it's like a school, it's like a scholarship school, and then you can get earn allowance or money for what's the term for that? For allowance.
Yeah,
allowance.
That was actually the main.
And that was for me the main reason
Oh.
why I was I can earn money just for school, and it's okay, I can go for that.
I think
and
that's the main reason why most people even
and
wanted to go to Pisay.
And then one of my teachers in sixth grade said in order to be in Pisay, you have to take this exam, this NCE exam, and it's not really that easy because you have to take it, and it's really hard because it's high school.
Yeah, isn't that why most students would go to a review center before actually taking the test?
Many students go there. And then I was this is probably serious because there's an exam and then you give allowance. It's this school is probably really serious and strict about something. So I was okay, I should give it a try or something like that.
Yeah.
I think before we even met each other on campus, I think at least once we met each other on review centers.
Yeah. We had the same review center, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, we're all in the same review center, so that I don't know
Not
any of
me.
you all.
No,
I don't know
not
any of
me.
you all, for real.
No one expected that we would continue we would interact with each other in
I didn't
the school
even
itself. I didn't even understand why I even bothered going to a review center where you could have just self-studied and practically could have acquired similar results.
But that wasn't the idea that was embedded into our minds. The idea was the test is going to be hard. You have to review. You have to go back to everything you've learned since grade 1, since kinder. And everything you've learned in kinder is everything you've learned in grade 6 all applied. So why even,
Yeah, that's it. I think it's very difficult because everything you learn from kinder is everything you learned your entire life that time.
Weren't you a valedictorian?
Yeah, let's talk about first our elementary lives.
Oh yeah.
I know Isaac before elementary because he was known to be a valedictorian.
Oh, yes.
This topic.
He used to be a valedictorian.
He was one of contestants.
Yeah,
He was the model of excellence.
Yeah,
I'm the opposite of what I am now. Because in elementary, I was I was a guy who achieved a lot, and I studied every night, and I joined a lot of contests, and I was even president of the classroom for 3 years.
Damn.
But now,
And then I studied every day and then joined a lot of contests, but then and I thought it was a good thing. I thought it was a good thing that I did that, but then right now with what I am doing right now, I don't think it's actually a pretty bad thing. I mean, I can still understand lessons and I can still
keep up.
I can keep up with the lessons and maintain grades even though if I don't do the very hectic stuff. How about you, Shem?
What do you mean by hectic stuff?
In Pisay, it's not just Pisay, but school in general. You have to do a lot of things like assignments and projects, and especially now we're in online classes, and it's a very new setup for us, and we haven't had much time to adjust to it, which is it's very difficult right now.
But that's how most students perceive their own individual school. all schools have their own assignments, have their own tasks, have their own tests, of course. But what do you think like distinguishes our school from theirs? Like we're scholars, but how are our tests different from public schools in Bahay?
I don't really know, but you know, a lot of our teachers say that our lessons that we have right now, it's like the lessons they took when they were in college.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
That's
them
what
say
my
that.
mom used to keep
I actually
saying.
recall most teachers saying that.
They say that all the time, but I don't really know. I think it's the same thing that they teach in other public schools. Like when some of my old classmates talk about their lessons, it's like the ones that we have.
Yeah, but how do we know other high school teachers don't also tell their students like, oh, this is very hard, this is what I learned in college?
I wouldn't know.
I think it's just because
Exactly, we wouldn't know.
I think it's just the name of Pisay itself.
Yeah,
Like
it's the name.
forcing the
Yeah.
teachers like to believe, oh, just because it's Pisay, it might be it's advanced.
That's the first stereotype.
Yeah, that's the first
That's what
stereotype.
Like people would assume
Just the name itself brings
pressure.
pressure to the students and to the teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Coming from like from a
I mean-
private school like elementary school, like it was not really pressure because we were not really forced to maintain grades or like you just have to petition and like continue going to school there.
You just have. I'm also from a private school, and like you only have to learn and then like at least pass a passing grade. That's probably the
Yeah.
only thing. Because of course every school should at least pursue the students to pass.
But
But
there's
that's
really
it.
no pressure.
Yeah, that's probably it. You just have to.
And by the way, to all you models of excellence out there like Ice, before you go wilding on social media about like how we're not following protocols, we have followed the protocols. As you can see, we're wearing our masks. We have our disinfectants right here. We have alcohol, of course, and we're gathered here today, completely safe and sound, and we're breathing clean air, definitely not infected air, contaminated air. I mean.
So we've like talked about ourselves. How about you, Shem? Like
Yeah.
how are
no.
like what's your life in elementary?
Oh, weren't you like from a Catholic school?
Oh
yeah.
no, man!
Oh, that's
I mean,
good.
yeah, we
It's
need
not-
we
I
need
think
to
it's a
know
Christian
about
school.
you though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've like talked about ourselves.
Yeah, it's a
already.
Christian school, and fun fact, actually, I'm the only one who passed out of the 7 students that took the Please stop the applause. Please, that's cringe, man. Not
All right, Neil.
Yeah.
So,
I was the only one who passed, and like, it was quite the experience being there. You know, it's not a Catholic school, but it is a Christian. It is a Christian school. More specifically, what you call that? Oh, a Protestant school. But it's like a sub branch of Protestantism. I'd rather not go into that actually, but I will go into my experiences as a student there. The system is completely different. Apparently,
how different? How different?
apparently it's the system of the school branched from like an American system, and you know, of course we're familiar with our current system of our current mode of learning, which is modular learning and distance learning. That was the system there.
So they're like ahead of their time.
So wait, like,
I was most definitely ahead of my time. If I expected this at all, I mean, who expected COVID? No one expected COVID.
Of course, no one expected.
No one expected the sudden shift in our modes of learning. But I am actually experiencing what I've always been experiencing in my elementary years: modular learning. We were given modules, and we were answering at our own pace. Like we weren't answering similar topics. If you answer your modules faster, you get to advance to harder topics. While the students who answer slower are stuck at the simpler topics. And that applies to all students of the same grade. Like you're one grade, you're grade 6, but one student could be learning calculus while one student is still learning arithmetic. Isn't that insane? Like,
But I have a question for you. Would you say that the shift to online classes is it a difficult process, or are you used to it since you've done it in elementary?
I mean, most people would say that it's not. I would have been used to it by now. Like, of course, it's the same mode of learning. It's the same mode of learning, and except we aren't answering at our own pace. We're actually answering the
The
same
same pace.
topics.
Yeah.
But most people would say that I should be used to this. Like this shouldn't at all be difficult for me. But it is most definitely difficult because man, I hated that system of learning.
I mean, who would prefer like?
I absolutely despised it. So some people would say like, oh, it's simpler. It is actually simpler because you're answering at your own pace. But here you're answering the same topics while being pressured. While
They
being
only said
pressured
that.
of an actual time.
They only said that at first.
Yeah.
Like you can learn at your own pace. We'll give you all the modules, but in reality, like in this week you have to answer this.
Basically,
In the
they're
other
saying
week, you have
that
to answer that.
okay, you can answer at your own pace, but you have to pass tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, you have to pass all of this tomorrow. All these 10 assignments, 10 outputs, 10 modules. You have to pass that tomorrow. But it's okay. You can learn at your own pace.
While we're on the topic of pressure, guys, given that you're like top of the line student during your element, wasn't there pressure on you to pass Pisay or like going to Pisay?
I mean, I mean, yeah, there is pressure, but then I didn't really think about it. The pressure was when I already entered Pisay, like, especially in grade 7, in the first quarter, I was DL, and then like the rest of the quarters, I didn't do
The
anything.
mark of student
I
excellence.
didn't do anything in the rest of the quarters, and then like my mom was like, she wasn't mad, but she was kind of disappointed that I didn't really maintain the DL, and I think that's because there are already expectations when you, especially from my elementary years, there were already expectations, but then what I wanted with my high school is to go easy.
Enjoy.
Yeah. But then after like grade 8 and grade 9, my parents got used to it, and then they weren't really disappointed or anything. It's all good. And
It's all
there's
good.
not much pressure anymore.
There's no
There's not
problem
much
there. It's
pressure
all good.
anymore.
How about
So-
you, Lance? What do you think of the concept of pressuring like kids or students
For me,
into entering Pisay?
if I could talk to parents about something, like don't pressure your kids, because like they themselves know that they're pressured by themselves, because obviously, especially like in other schools, like it's not like your school that you can like learn at your own pace, right? We're all learning at the same
No.
pace. Like that's already pressured enough, especially if like me, like
Oh.
my brain is expanding, it's lagging.
My brain is expanding.
I mean, the concept
like-
of pressure itself
So
is
like
like
pressure, if you're a parent and you're pressuring your kid, you should stop. And like you should at least like comfort them or like motivate them.
or at least
Rather
understand
than,
them.
yeah, rather than pressuring them, because like they're pressured by themselves already. So
Yeah, right. The concept of pressure is like it can either be beneficial or negative. If done correctly, you can turn a coal into a diamond. But if you done like in a like bad way, it will like only destroy the coal. So like, it's okay to pressure kids, bro. You have to understand that too much pressure can like break them down.
No, you motivate them.
Yeah, you
not
motivate
pressuring
them. Like rather than like pressuring them to become the perfect students that you want to be, just support them so that they themselves can turn into the perfect student they want to be. Do not fit your ideals into like I don't want parents to like fit their ideals onto their sons and daughters, but rather like let them enjoy learning.
Yeah,
Let
that's
them
probably-
be themselves and learn the way they want.
Just don't pressure people. Just don't
Bro.
pressure people.
I think every one of us like experience pressure
Yeah.
because we live in like a traditional like, Filipino household,
And even
Asian household.
especially being in Pisay, there's a
Yeah.
lot of pressure.
The pressure in
since
so since we're in this topic, let's talk about and being a Pisay squad and like being in the Pisay system already.
Our early Pisay system.
Yeah,
What do you think?
that's
about it?
probably like what happened when you entered Pisay? Like for me, like when I entered Pisay, I thought it was like a normal high school probably. It's like there's always like reproduction, and then freshman field day, probably a fun thing.
I'm surprised you had that thought despite
Don't make me remember the
despite what
babies.
everyone's been saying about the school. Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be a normal high school.
Yeah, I really expected that. It's like, oh, it's gonna be a normal school, probably like that. And then, like normal school in like first months, like you get to touch new subjects and that, and mind blown. You just don't know what to do.
Mind blown. Brain instantly expands.
It lagged.
I
The
mean,
brain
like,
lagged.
no one expected Pisay to be that different from what we usually like experience in like normal. Cause like
Probably.
I have a brother. Okay, he went to Agusan High.
Yeah,
So-
that's actually a good thing. You should put into perspective as to how we're different using your brother's
Oh, yeah.
experiences.
He went like okay. There are two like science high school in Butuan, like Agusan High and like Philippine Science High School. So from what like experience like the teaching like Agusan High School, like Science High School, is more like activities. Like what I've noticed, it's more like they do more activities, and like what I've like compared, it's like similar lessons with grade 7 PSHS, bro. They focus on like practicality, like application, but more on us, like they teach us the theory so that we themselves like will apply it. So like if you think each school has their own different methods, and even though they're both science high school, they prefer certain teaching methods, but our school like prefers just like teaching the students more on the definition, and like they leave us the problem to decide how to use it. So that's what I'm trying to tell most kids, or like one kids inspiring, is that don't get your hopes up on like a new learning, like new topics, so it's gonna be fun, because they're just
I
gonna
mean, the new topics are definitely there.
new topics are there, you're gonna have fun, of course, but like you have to understand that the teachers are not gonna spoon feed you like
Yeah.
that. You're practically in a college, you're gonna teach you, but it's up to you on how to use it.
It's like that's like what my mom used to say. Like they're just gonna introduce you to the topics, but you yourself have to learn and understand the topic though. You have to like narrow down, let's say math, and then just introduce you like the basic binomials or something like that. Then you yourself have to go deeper to understand it.
I mean, but that doesn't necessarily apply to all teachers. Like we've had
Oh,
exceptions.
yeah, we have exceptions.
Yeah,
We've
of
had
course.
exceptions. Of course, we most exceptions will include our physics teachers. Of course, shout out to our physics
Sir
teachers.
Gino Liperio!
Sir Arb.
Sir Gino, Sir
Oh.
Gino. Ay, Sir Bong, I love you too.
Sir Bong, Sir Gino. Yeah,
I love
we
you
know
too.
all of them. We've had those wonderful exceptions, but I guess generally speaking, that is correct. Like we're taught certain topics. We're taught general concepts, and the application is left to us. That's actually true. Actually,
The reality of things is that it's actually like college style teaching. You can't like overview the fact that we're actually like being taught college topics in a college style. Like there's one teacher that kept Ma'am Gona.
Oh,
Oh.
we're going off.
I'm sorry, like, it's grade 7. So it's grade
Sorry.
What's up? This teacher,
All right.
this teacher, I wanna, she was good at teaching her topic, pero my grade
Hey,
7,
calm down.
come down, my grade 7, my grade 7, like, view of her was like, it's, I won't say anything.
What? Continue, bro.
Oh my god. I mean, she was like a good teacher, I
You can be vague with your description.
Alright, she was. I can say like she was like forcing. Let's say forcing. Like I didn't like her.
Oh.
What? Period?
Like
or
her what?
Period?
Period. I don't like.
What?
I mean, I don't like her.
You have to think what you're saying.
I mean, she's
through,
good at her
man.
topic. She knows. She's very good at like at
Oh, yeah,
giving her
she was actually very good.
very good for like from my point of view, and like what I think some people might support me on this, is that she was not a student. She was a teacher that doesn't really want to to either help the students. I'll say that help the students in a way. I'm not saying that she wasn't like a good teacher, like she was like bad at teaching, but she was a teacher like doesn't really understand. Like she's a traditional teacher. Let's say that.
Sending a teacher.
I'm being unfiltered.
Pause that thing.
Till it's cool, just cool, into the mouth. Nice.
And also, I actually thought of that teacher as I actually liked that teacher. I mean, in contrary to what you said, I actually thought she was very good at teaching. One teacher, the other teacher that I don't like at teaching, which I won't name, is someone who just tells us to open a page in a book, read the page, and report it in front of the class.
Oh!
And what I really don't like about that is like, yes, there are some people who can learn with that kind of method, but we all know that we have different types of learning.
And
right?
we're like grade 7.
And like we have different types of learning styles. So not everyone can learn with just reporting or just reading a part of the book, you know.
Yeah, from the perspective that was given of us of college teaching.
Yeah.
That's definitely the essence of what they've told us about teaching in college. Like open this page in this book, and then report it in front of the class. I mean, that's definitely
Yeah.
And it's definitely terrible. I admit it's definitely terrible.
Okay. It's like you remember like the first people like you've met like you came in contact during like grade 7, like you first people
First
that you got
friends.
close with, yeah, friends.
After reflecting on a number of our teachers, we're running back the years then. We're running back the years.
Let's go back to how like we
Oh, we're
initially
still in
started.
grade 7?
Yeah. Let's go back to the simpler times.
Yeah.
Let's forget and forgive the past for a bit.
So let's talk about first who we met.
Also, our first friends.
Yeah.
First friends.
Is that what you mean?
I mean like first people like who you got close to. We're like
Oh.
not necessarily friends.
For me, it's actually the people who I went to the tutor with.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and especially
the
in
review center.
yeah, and in grade 7, we were actually classmates, right? And then we were also the same review center.
Along with Jubert.
Yeah, and other people. Shout out to our Barcada friends.
Jubert Duck Duck, I love you.
And
friends.
yeah, we were like, I think we were 6 in the section who went to the same review center, and I think that's how we became closer. And also Keith, who is supposed to be here with us right now, but he was also one of my closer friends because we were friends. We were classmates in elementary. How about you, Lance?
Ambulance.
Oh,
Who did you
So,
get
like,
close with?
And like I passed Pisay together with like 6 other people that are from the same school as I am, including Shanti.
yeah, we all know Shanti.
Yeah,
Shanti.
Then the other people. Then when it comes to sectioning, I was alone. Like everybody was in different section. I was like left there.
From your school?
Yeah, from my
You're
school.
the only one.
Yeah, I'm the only
You're
one
all
from
in
that
there.
in that section. So it's like
That's-
I felt so lonely with it. I was like probably.
We're
like,
buddies
from-
in that aspect.
For like
I'm
a
the
very
only one
long
who passed
time,
from my school.
for a very long time, I only commute, eat by myself, and then like that. That's the short thing. And then I became close with one of my classmates that was like from the same tutor center as well. Then like I begin
Who was it?
Kevin. Shout out to Kevin.
Stevos.
Stimos.
And then
Shouting out everyone we mentioned here.
yeah, man. So we became close, and then he introduced me to you guys. Since you were classmates from elementary, I was like, oh, I should start hanging out with them because they seem to be nice guys. And then I started hanging out with them, and then it starts going there.
Yeah, speaking of Kevin, I actually knew you through Kevin, right? In the same review center again.
I asked Kevin if I could if I could go with them to the review center because yeah, I admit I was struggling in my years in grade 7, man. But let's not go into that. Let's go into
I mean,
our
like-
experience with Gavin. What do you?
Experience.
Kevin,
Like,
what are we down to?
can you expand on how you met me through
Oh, yeah.
Gavin?
Yeah, it's just like in grade 7, like after classes we go to the review center for like the first few months we did that, and then Kevin was there, and then Kevin brought Versham, who I didn't know that time, and
Yeah.
I didn't know your
I actually
name.
remember
I
that.
didn't know your name. I was like, who's this guy? Kevin was like, this is Versham. I'm like, that's a weird name.
Yeah, that's me. I was.
We're all connected by
I was just
tutorial
standing there.
center.
I was just standing there, T-pose and all.
I
Yeah,
think
I'm
the
version.
reason why we even got close is because of a
I mean,
tutorial.
yeah, that's probably another way of being friends, like having connections, like in all schools, like
Yeah.
before high school.
For me, that was the only way to make friends. Because I was the only one from my school, man.
Oh yeah, the bubble with it.
I mean,
But yeah, it's probably normal from all schools, I guess. Like all high school schools, you start like you have no friends, and then
Yeah.
start seeing people, and then you get to.
I
go.
think I would admit, like, the way we acted in grade 7 compared to now is so different.
It's very
like,
different.
Very different. Like, in grade 7, I think it's like been like a stereotype being taught to us, which is a stereotype like high school would be like, oh, we're gonna be so mature, like we're gonna be so
Oh, so many house parties.
oh like that, like that. It's like your typical American high school, bro.
Nah,
It's different.
I mean
Like,
some would
we-
happen, but
Oh, excuse me.
Alright, excuse me.
okay.
Alright, let's continue.
Should we pause? Should we just pause?
Alright, let's continue.
God.
So,
Huh?
like, I want to like clarify that it's okay to act stupid in grade 7. It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't think there's nothing wrong with being like acting out of your age.
yeah. Especially when you think that you're more mature than what you are.
Oh yes. It just makes things even worse.
Yeah.
I admit, I did things that I shouldn't have. Okay.
Like what? Like
okay.
what?
Yeah, expand, bro.
Okay,
Expand.
Didn't we all like? Didn't we all?
Like,
We
I
all
think
have regrets.
what I did was like, I tried, just because, like, okay, in grade 6, I was really fat. For like, majority of my life, I was really fat. For like, when I like
Give
turned
me some.
grade 7, is that I got really thin because like I was exercising.
Whoa.
Exercising, so like, I think that boosted both my ego and confidence too much. Okay, too much. So yeah, I did things. I'm so sorry, people who I have done things to. I'm so
Bro,
sorry.
elaborate that.
That's a bit too vague,
That's,
man.
I mean,
that's
I did-
creepy.
I did harass some of you, bro.
Oh,
I
no!
apologize, please.
In what way are you harassing me?
What?
I mean,
Let's say verbally. Let's say
yeah, I verbally harassed it and like unwanted, I touched them like without them knowing ahead of time. I surprised them. Okay, I surprised them. Okay, don't look at me like that.
Yeah, let's play that.
We should look at you like
Yeah,
that.
like
It sounds
this.
weird.
Yeah, like
Hashtag cancelled.
Bro, okay, I just wanna clarify. I did apologize in grade 8 because of what I did in the following years because I knew I did things and I perceived things the wrong way. So, don't cancel me there, please.
Hashtag cancelled.
So like I think we're leaving out from our topic. Let's go
Yeah,
back
we
from our
digress,
from
man.
main
We
topic.
digress a lot.
Yeah, so like let's talk about stereotypes now. Since like it's
Okay.
probably the main topic.
Stereotypes.
Like what are the most common stereotypes that you've ever heard from people outside besides systems? Like I know one. You're gonna be like we're all focused on studying, that's it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's I mean
We're
it
models
is like yeah
of
we
excellence.
all of us probably are
I
studying
think one.
because we're
I think
students.
one of our like elementary like friends or like classmates would say na, oh, I think he or she hasn't been like in contact with us because he or she is busy with studying. Bro, a bit of it is true.
Yeah.
A bit, bro. Not every time, like not every day, or like some people would do study every day, bro.
Some people I heard like usually from my neighbors like because like I don't usually go outside now. Like since in high school, like in elementary, I kept going outside, just hang out and play with my neighbors. But now it's not. And then they say like, "Oh, you're always studying, man. You're magtuon 24/7. You're magtuon. Always
Oh.
with books." And it's like, it's kind of triggering me out though.
Bro, I think it can be used as a good excuse to like to not go to certain invitations.
Oh, that's kind of rude though. That's kind of rude.
No, I mean, it's you can use.
It's pretty rude.
You dare underestimate my tendency to procrastinate?
But like, yeah, that's one of the biggest stereotypes regarding
Yeah.
Pisay.
What other stereotypes?
Like,
What have you heard, Ice?
It's almost like the same thing. I mean, I guess like when people say everyone in Pisay is smart. I mean, I think to a point that is true, but then like it's not like every day in every lesson we can understand it. You know, like we still have difficulties in understanding. I mean, even I have a lot of difficulties. Even if you say like I was doing a lot of stuff in elementary, I still don't really understand some topics and lessons.
Oh, I can relate. There's this time, like they always think that we know everything since we're scholars and something like that. When Pisay, so like
yeah.
we're good at this, none. We know this, and there's one time somebody would just ask me questions like say math related. It's like, man, I don't know this.
And they were like,
They was like, oh, you're the Pisay, you should know this. Like,
What's the derivative
They would
of the
act-
limit of the power of x to the power of 8?
expands.
they would actually like get mad at you.
Yeah, though. It's like,
You're from Pisay, you should know this, something like that.
How do you not know this? You're so pathetic. Are you a Pisay scholar? Oh.
that's gonna.
I think.
I mean, that's another stereotype. We don't know everything.
I mean, it
I think-
hurts. But if you've heard it enough, you get like used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just-
a Pisay scholar, so what?
It's just a funny thing. I think one thing that contributes to that is the Pisay to.
The ads,
commercial.
the ads.
The commercials.
It-
It's kind of misleading too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very.
It further like it further gives the public na that we like as students are like capable of knowing advanced
They
stuff.
had,
Yeah.
they created more like higher expectations.
I mean, we also play basketball in Pisay scholars
Oh,
also
yeah.
play basketball,
That's
but
stereotype.
we don't calculate the trajectory of the ball. You know, when we
Oh.
play.
That's also a stereotype. They say that we're only focused on studies. We don't have like humanities.
Oh, yes.
We don't do sports. It's kind of not true. But one, we don't have like those groups or like clubs to join for like palaro
Oh,
or like
yes.
that.
For
We-
like
we're not. We don't have like. I don't think we're allowed to.
I think.
Yeah, we're allowed to, but we're not supported by the system.
Oh yeah,
so-
probably like that.
Which is actually unfair because a lot of our passions are actually inclined to that area.
Yeah.
Like a lot
Like-
of us want to compete. A lot of us want to compete in sports and arts and music.
If journalism has is supported by the system, why not sports as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a
I've
false
actually
stereotype.
questioned
We
that a lot.
do sports, obviously.
We're not nerds. We're not always
Yeah.
nerds.
I mean,
I mean,
some
some
people
of
would
us
say
are.
some people like some parents also say that all people, I mean students from Pisay are like nerds or quote unquote zombies and robots. Like, no?
If you look at Jerick Priete, do you think he's a nerd?
Shout out to Jack
He's
Prieta.
a- Look him up right now and you'll see, oh, is he actually from Pisay? Damn, he's handsome. So, yeah.
Damn, promotions.
But he's already taken.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Sad
to sum it
girls.
up, like you could say that every non-Pisay affiliate, every person that's not a Pisay affiliate would think and knows. Every person that's not a Pisay affiliate and knows the core values of the school would think that every student is a direct expression of those core values. Like every student expresses the passion for excellence, the pursuit of truth, and the service to nation, and that we're molded to be future leaders. I don't want to be a future leader.
Same.
That's too much weight on
I
myself.
can't lead. That's it. I can't lead.
I just want to earn enough money.
Yes.
I just want to earn enough money.
Money was the reason for everything.
I mean, since we're STEM, I think we're obliged to do like STEM-related courses, and probably all of those are like high expected, like jobs. That's probably it.
I
Like,
mean, I was 12 years old when I signed the contract. I didn't even read it. So like, did you read the contract?
I actually read
Yeah,
it.
kinda.
I read it, bro.
I didn't mistake.
Why did you read it?
I just like, oh, it's all
Like
out.
no
I
one
have to read
read it. Who would even read a legal document at
I
that
had
age?
my mom read it for me.
My mom forced me to read it, so I have to read it.
I mean, we were 12 years old, and like, who in the right mind as 12 years old would like read a legal document and understand what's content, what it implies? So
That's probably the job of there's like lawyers, attorneys.
Yeah,
right?
attorneys.
Diba?
like they give us a
Right.
responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say now. Why give this
What's gonna write?
why give us?
I think it's okay.
It's actually right though.
I-
Like, we're the ones who's gonna be
I think
emphasized.
I think that was my
Why
fault.
wouldn't you read the
I think-
contract jeopardizing your entire career?
I didn't realize now we have to do like mandatory service for. I get that.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
myself.
So like, what other stereotypes?
I'm not dissing Pisay, but like, please understand that 12-year-olds that won't read legal documents.
Not all of them.
I mean,
Not all of
I have
them.
to admit, like, I didn't actually know that as well. And like, if I can imagine myself back then, being told that I had to pick a course inclined to the strand of STEM, like science, technology, engineering, mathematics, I can't imagine myself accepting being limited to those paths.
Like,
So yes, I admit to having not read the contract. Basically.
Pisay, I love you, pero yeah, you know na.
Don't you think we've been talking about a lot of like more on the negative stuff?
Okay, let's talk
I
about.
think we should talk about
positive.
what we like, what we enjoyed in our Pisay life.
Basically, it's been 36 minutes of just talking negative about.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Pisay.
So we should start talking about positive things.
Okay, let's.
We've had smidgets of positives, but
Yeah.
I think we should be directing our focus on that area. So positives.
Where-
One thing we've already mentioned is we do play sports, and a lot of guys are actually
And
sports
girls.
inclined, and I think that's also one way you get
And,
friends.
Another thing is that despite Pisay not being like supporting the palaro,
Yeah, like sport.
we do have like gyms and
Yeah.
other
We do have the
sports,
facilities.
yeah, sport
the
facilities, which means like yes, we can still do sports. We can enjoy what we do.
We actually have the subject P, so yeah.
And I really think that
Don't forget.
sports is like one of the ways we actually get
Yeah,
more
enjoy.
friends.
And relieve stress.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
That's
Don't you miss playing volleyball after school, after class, like every day? And then we're just gonna stay there until the guard says we have to go out.
Yeah, that's actually one of the ironic aspects of that. You know, like we have the facilities.
Oh, yeah.
We have the materials. We have the facilities and materials to do what we want to do, to express our passions through sports and arts. You know, the school provides that for us, but to a very
But
limited
we're
degree.
limited.
To a very limited degree. We have the facilities. We have the gym.
Yeah,
We have the court.
we have the balls.
But we have limited
We
time.
most definitely have the balls, but the time limited for use is.
okay. Yes.
Kinda true though. Kinda true
Yeah,
though.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm talking about the volleyballs.
And basketball.
There's a lot of
soccer
volleyballs.
balls.
Can we not expand on that, please?
Yes, let's not.
Everyone knows about the balls that we're talking about.
Yeah,
So yeah, we have the facilities, but we don't have the time.
Yes.
Which is extremely ironic because
Yeah.
despite having the facilities, they don't encourage us. They don't encourage us using it.
it's like what we talked about a while ago. You learn at your own pace, but then you need to do it in a certain time. It's like you can play all you want,
No, I think-
but you should stop playing at this time.
Except they're actually not supportive in this
Yeah.
aspect at all.
I think another positive like side of Pisay is that because it's a tight knit community, like no one really goes in or goes out. Is that we're really close with each other. We know each other more. Like rather than like some high schools like with like transfer students and something. I think the positive aspect of Pisay being like a close community is that we become closer to each other. Like we know each other more.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Because
actually.
we struggle together, we enjoy the positive things beside together, and we are students of Pisay together. So I think that's a positive aspect, that we have someone to lean on.
We hardly meet anyone new in our years in Pisay.
But that's the thing. We're in a close community. We only know people within that community. But based on my experience, I don't know anybody outside of our community.
I mean, there are positives and negative sides to
Yeah.
that, of course. Like, we become closer to each other as a result of being the only people we
Yeah.
actually know.
Yeah, because like our school is really isolated. from
It's
the
very
city.
isolated.
Yeah.
It's like,
The only neighbor we have is CSU, and it's like college people.
But actually, one good thing about that, I also noticed, is that we have a very our teachers are very friendly to us.
Yeah.
Even though like we said, like some of them are very strict.
yes.
We actually have a lot of friendly teachers. Like
To the point na pwede naman siya mabarkada.
Yeah.
Like those type of teachers.
I mean,
Yeah.
in class you have to be
respectful.
you have to be
Yeah.
proper. But then
That's-
after class, like you could be friends with each other.
Like, you can tell them like if you want to play at this
Yeah.
Saturdays, or like,
you can talk about something you both like.
or you want to eat
like
somewhere
that, or-
else
yeah.
together, or something like that. So just because it's a tight knit community, it gives us the opportunity to be closer with not only with the students, but also the teachers.
Yeah. Even faculty, like janitors,
Uh,
right?
Yeah.
Who was that guy? Like the janitor, like
Who teaches us volleyball?
The head faculty.
the one who built the motor.
Oh?
Kuya Eman.
Okay,
Kuya
Evan.
Eman, yeah. Shout out to Kuya
Yeah,
Eman.
man.
Of course.
I'm
We're just shouting everyone out here.
What's more to Pisay that's positive? What do you
Clubs.
think?
Clubs. Yes, clubs. Oh,
Clubs.
how?
Oh.
Why did we forget about
Don't
clubs?
other like high schools, Philippine
Oh,
high
yeah.
schools have clubs?
Just have
Like-
clubs.
Other schools though. I mean, other schools probably have clubs. But I guess that's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, we're
one
actually
positive
completely
thing.
oblivious in that aspect.
Clubs is like a club is a way to express or enjoy your hobbies.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then there's like, since there's no like teams for sports, there's like sports club.
Like,
So where you enjoy like sports that you want to enjoy, or like if you want to join some like singing contest like representing the school, there's like an a cappella group, or like if you want to perform in dancing, there's dance groups. Like there are many clubs that like represents students, or like hobbies that students wants to enjoy. So
Yeah.
that's probably a reason to be happy about or positive about
Like-
in school.
Like that,
Since
the diversity of clubs actually.
yeah, like since like we're mostly focused on academics, at least the clubs is there to like break away from academics.
although there are
we
like
can enjoy
academic
ourselves.
clubs though.
Oh yeah, there are academic clubs.
Yeah, there are most definitely science clubs and.
Of course, it's your
math clubs.
typical high school.
But like you could enjoy like science though.
Yeah, it's a way. It's a
Like
you're
Like,
not
they do
forced to
fun-
learn something.
They do fun stuff outside
yeah,
school.
like you can do like they do experiments or like
Or watch movies.
Oh, math club.
or make ice creams.
Math club.
But you know, there's actually a
You made ice cream?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in seventh
science
grade.
club.
Like we were science grade in seventh grade, and we just
Yeah.
like made ice cream.
There's actually a downside to that in the first few years, because the club has to have a limit of members,
Yeah.
and then if you can't join the club, you'll have to go to a club which you don't like.
Yeah.
But good thing in grade 10 it was fixed, and we could join whatever club
it's
we
like
want.
the system, our club system in change.
Yeah.
Like all you
There-
all you
there
need
were
to
no
do
more
is like
rejects.
audition.
Yeah.
All you need to do is audition to a
No
club.
one, no one is rejected.
Yeah.
That's a
And then,
positive thing.
yeah, that's how you do it.
So
Then like
I mean, that's another positive aspect. But it's strange how every positive aspect has a negative.
Yeah.
Like for example, like the sports club isn't actually there for
For sports.
for sports, it's
They
more
can't
learning
play.
sports. Unlike the guide, the rules are like the how the game is played.
there's like limitations for everything.
I think another.
Like science club, one thing, focus on science, and just inside science labs, like kind of boring. Like
yeah.
for if you think about the whole year just in there.
So other than that, there's also other positive. Okay, the main positive I think is money.
Uh-huh.
I doubt it.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
another
that's
positive
definitely
thing
positive.
for aspiring Pisay scholars out there is like money.
I mean, that's most definitely one of the reasons why we even
The only
consider
the
Pisay.
positive thing that
We've
compelled
talked
us
about
into joining.
Speaking of which, when I was like in elementary, like that was the only reason why I wanted to be in Pisay.
Like,
I kept dreaming about using this money for computer games.
It's like who wouldn't
Yeah,
want
like,
money?
that's it.
Okay.
That's it, like full on computer games. Like,
Boom.
yeah, like imagine, and when it was like our time, they said na every student will get
4K.
4K, and I was like,
Huh, 4K?
me being an elementary boy, I was like daydreaming everything, but I could do it 4K.
What could I do
With 4K.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I could buy games, I could buy
4K
skins.
every month.
On
But
the
what actually happened when we went there? It's no longer
Yeah.
4K. each
on the
student.
same year that
Um,
we enrolled, they changed everything.
Everything changed because you're gonna get your allowance based on
The income of your parents.
income and other
Assets.
other
things,
other elements.
other elements. Yes.
I mean, that was already an implemented system for a long period of time. Like, for the first two batches, everyone was uniformly given the same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they
The amount
changed.
was only cut off when it came to our batch, and the preceding batches, of course.
I
Which
think-
is quite unlucky if you think
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
we're unlucky.
Oh.
If you think, I think the main reason why they have to cut it is because of like given our school's newly built like system.
Yeah, since like our campus is
Our
like
campus
really
is
new,
newly established.
still a baby campus.
So I think they needed the funds.
Yeah.
The funds to like have
The government.
these support
Yeah.
the schools and everything. So besides money, I think I wanna talk about
I mean, for dormers, there's the living spaces.
yeah, I think that like,
Let's talk about dorms though.
okay dorms.
But I mean, like none of us are dormers.
Okay, none of us are
Let's just
But I wanna
like,
clarify if you like
if you're living in a region like far away from that campus, there's like dormitories, where like you can live there.
at 50 pesos per month.
Or
But there are
60.
most-
Really?
60.
60 pesos per
Yeah, I
month.
think you need to pay for the electrical stuff.
Yeah. Besides that, you can live there for free.
And that
Wow.
60 pesos is taken off your stipend.
Yeah. So if you get 500 a month, you only get 440.
But you're still living there for free. You don't need to spend anything.
But what's not free in dorms are food, obviously.
Yeah.
Food. Like you probably eat in canteen.
Through the years, I think food was like something that actually kept
Yeah,
us
and like
sane.
I had like many dorm friends. We had dorm friends, right? Dormer friends, and that's probably their main problem. It's the food, and another thing that they're not allowed to go outside
They need permission.
unless permitted.
Outside of their rooms, even.
Oh yeah, yeah.
During certain
Like,
certain periods of
let's
time.
say like one of us are dormers, and then like, we wanna hang out on like after class and today's Friday. That dormer can't go outside unless he has a permit slip
Yeah.
to go outside. Well, that's probably easy to form because you only need a permission from the parents
Yeah.
and then the teacher, our dorm manager, and then
I think it's not
I
that
mean, the
hard.
process isn't that much of a hassle.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
yeah.
But it's still
Inconvenience.
it's still quite an inconvenient system to have.
Like
That
having
highly limits the activity of the dorm.
Right.
There are most definitely negatives to every positive.
Let's think about
And that applies to every.
okay, let's
the
just
happy things that we have done in seventh.
Okay.
In seventh. Like what are the things that you remember that was like fun? For me, it was like science fair.
Oh yeah, science.
Science
Science
fair.
fair.
Is that
They're
reason
most
is
likely-
the one reason is that I was a science club member by that time, and then we only facilitated in the morning and then participated in the afternoon, and then but it was like fun because activities were fun, but the problem is it was hot because we're like in the open
Oh, was it
area.
like that?
It was in a horse farm.
Oh,
in seventh grade,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember that one.
I think I thought of the wrong one.
Yeah, it was in a horse farm. and, like,
Same, I thought of the
one
wrong
reason
science
why
fair.
I was enjoying it because like we went on a place that's like away from the city,
Yeah.
away from
It was
urban
extremely
elements.
isolated.
Yeah,
It was a rural
It's like-
area.
it was like a
It
rural
was a legit
area.
farm.
Yeah, it is. Then like there were activities related to like nature and something like that.
And you actually can enjoy like your times.
Yeah,
staying
and then
there.
like it's not only focused on like activities. Like you can do other things like
You can relax.
you can actually ride a horse there if you pay.
Yeah.
There's a because it's a horse farm. There are horses there, and then they're like, oh, you can pay to ride. And then yes, you are permitted to do so. Like the school doesn't allow you to do so because like gonna be bad.
I think early days of like our stay in Pisay was like really. I think it was really good for me. I don't
It's
think
enjoyable to see.
it was enjoyable because like they actually like did things that we didn't really who expected that we were going to go to a farm or a horse farm. Like it was the things that our teachers did in grade 7 was out of our expectations. Like we never expected like our science week, or wasn't it a science
Since week.
I don't know.
Yeah,
our
so
science
that-
Scientific fair.
scientific fair to be held on a horse. So like a horse farm. So
On a horse.
so I just want to say
farm on a horse.
On
Chill,
a
chill,
horse.
chill
horse
out,
farm.
chill
So I
out,
just
chill
want to
out.
say that grade 7 was made enjoyable because of the little things that we did. Despite like how like difficult and like new the system
Yeah.
was to us.
Probably we just had to adjust.
Yeah.
In order to.
But like it was really like repeatedly told to us like grade 7 will always be your adjustment period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about like failing class or like
I mean, you must
do.
do.
I
You
think
do though.
you have to worry about that where you don't have to like
You do have to balance.
balance.
That's
Like,
it.
you have to like
Um,
learn the balance.
Don't be like what they expected you to be. Like as a Pisay scholar, don't study 24/7.
Because like
It's not worth. I
you're gonna
swear.
burn out.
Yeah.
You're gonna
You're just
burn
gonna
out.
tire yourself out. It's probably
Imagine burning out at your first year of high school.
Oh, that's
the best like suggestion or like tips I could give is like time management, since that's the only thing that's like probably useful in every aspect. I mean, because of time management, I tend to laag labaw. In 7th grade, so laag. And then I didn't expect na, oh, I can laag man this day. Like, oh, I laag with my friends and then like that. So it's not like I've been studying even until Sundays. And sometimes it would happen, like
And
exams.
especially before exams.
Yeah,
no,
it's
because
always
there's like
there's
the
definitely
schedules.
the fear of failing.
It's
The
random.
schedule
Is it
for
random?
exams are usually like some schools, especially mine, when elementary, our exams always fixed on Wednesday, Thursday,
Thursday,
and Friday.
Friday, yeah,
That's
of
it. That's
course.
it. There's no
Of course.
Mondays and Tuesdays. But sometimes in Pisay, it's like there's sometimes Mondays, there's sometimes Tuesdays. But you need to take your time to study on weekend because obviously it's exams. It's very important.
Yeah, the only thing that's constant is that it's held over a series of 3 days.
Yes, it's always Mondays.
Just
And they're all half day.
yeah. Like there's probably like 2 subjects a day. Then the rest of the day you can just like skedaddle away from the stuff.
Yeah, you're given a lot of time to study actually. But to be honest, we didn't really use that time to study.
Yeah.
Like I
for-
personally, in grade 7, oh god.
In
think I
in
relied
7th
too much
grade, I
on
remember in
tutorials.
7th grade, like especially when it's like second day in exam after that day, then you only have like 2 more subjects the next day because it's the last day. On that day, like there's like a group of like me and a group of friends just go run, just like
Yeah.
play. I was like,
Exactly, man.
I was like, whoa, what are we doing?
Yeah, like me and my, we
We were there.
We were part of the same group, man. What are you talking about?
I mean, like, what I remember from those days is like tutorial centers.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
same.
yeah.
I would
It
love to
kind
see
of helped.
this.
It kind of helped.
A lot
Like
of
late
students
night
went to
tutorial
tutorial
centers,
centers.
9 p.m. Going
Yeah.
home at 9 p.m.
You don't want 12? Do I want 12 and 11?
Like
Try
going,
that, though.
going home then after like studying again. So
Yeah.
I don't understand why I did that, bro. I think
I kinda regret, not to the point that I regret joining tutor centers. Like, I regret not using the time wisely.
Yeah.
Like, probably on that tutor center, I spent most of the time doing nothing.
Yeah.
Talking with
And also, like
friends.
one thing about that is like when we arrived to the tutor center, the review center, like we were like we have to wait like 1 hour for the teacher to arrive,
Yeah.
and like we really rely on the teacher, so we don't study ahead.
Yeah.
and some people would just like use their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're
there.
just like playing and talking with each
So,
other.
like, that's it. Use your time wisely. That's probably important.
Yeah, you have to like. I know myself that I'm not really good at managing my time, so I'm not really like
Same.
very consistent in how I study. Bro, at least find the confidence in yourself to like do study and like at least for 1 hour.
Oh, I have a question for you. Cause like, you're probably like the smartest
Let's back it up
guy.
for a bit.
Smartest guy among here. like the both of you, how many hours do you take to study? Because like I'm a baboon. It took me at least 8
Okay,
hours
I'm
to
not
learn, I guess.
I'm not smart at all. I'm not smart. Like my tip to all students out there is like, listen to your teacher in discussion. Good. Like in that 1 hour, you try to like take up as much information as you can. So like when you study, you can like find it easier to understand the topic. So that's what people might like see like me during this class is like I would like take down notes or like focus, and after those classes do some very questionable things. I like doing so.
Yeah, that's not talking about
Oh,
this.
yeah,
or
question
So
about
like,
things.
back to my question, you didn't answer it. How long do you take?
Okay.
I mean, how many hours?
I was trying to dodge the question, but like I think like 2 to 1 hours.
2 to 1
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours. Okay. 1 to 2 hours.
Shut out, man. Shut out, man.
Let's back it up for a minute.
Back it up. Back it up.
1 to 2 hours for each subject.
Probably.
If it's
like in 7th grade,
Sockside,
like without the
hours.
help, if I didn't get help from like the centers, probably took me about half a day to learn the topics. Is that hard? But because one reason is that I don't listen to class. Because I'm in the back row. One reason is that
A lot of students have that issue.
in the back row it's actually fun. Not gonna lie, it's fun because
the teacher doesn't see.
I actually regret it because none of us listen during class in the back row. We either like do something that's really weird out or some sleeps. But like,
Isn't
Yeah.
that what you expect of a typical like high school?
oh yeah, that's probably it.
Like the front people are like usually the diligent people or like who are eager to learn, like who writes down notes, like
Who are actually like serious about
like
school.
who writes everything the teacher writes on the board. While
Good morning, class. Good morning, class.
So like the background people are usually like the one like either sleeping or like talking to each other. Bro, there's some like benefits to it.
I mean,
Like,
that's probably the fun part.
yeah.
I mean, that's like, yeah, we just like to hang out or something like that. But yeah, that's the problem.
Well,
We
that's the
had to
problem.
hang out. We didn't listen to school.
So yeah, I think
That's a problem.
you have to,
So
like-
some people at the front are actually there as hostages. they're put there by teachers by obligation.
you sit here because you're too noisy in the back. So come here.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of students get transferred from the back
Back
to
to
the
the
front
front.
because of how noisy they are.
I remember
Unless
Dean.
you're
I remember Dean in grade 8.
Shout out to Dean.
Yeah, but none of us are classmates in grade 8, right? Dean in grade 8, like at first he was at front, and like the teacher notices him that he's always sleeping. So like the teacher felt sorry for Dean, so Dean had to go to the back.
Whoa, with
Which subject? Which subject? Which subject?
English.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like,
What?
did he not sleep anymore after like going at the back? Or did
I don't know. I mean, we were like seatmates now at the back, so we're like always noisy. But like when he was in front, like he always slept. And then the teacher was like, "Okay, you need to go to the back."
Wow.
Kudos to the
I didn't
teacher.
expect that.
I mean, kudos to the
I
teacher.
personally think that's actually a right move by the teacher, because if a student isn't paying attention while like he's at the front, or
Why
he's just
bother?
sleeping all the time,
Yeah.
She probably do something.
I mean,
yeah, then there's a student at the back missing the opportunity to get to listen more.
well,
At the place of Dean.
I mean, like, I think, yeah. They're like, Philippine Science actually, PSHS is still a high school. So, there's some stereotypes that we see in like traditional Filipino high school that we see in our school. So, yeah. I think that's one of the biggest stereotypes is that because it's because it's Pisay, it's different from others like high schools, like from how they act, from how they like,
It's probably because we're too isolated.
yeah.
We don't know.
But in reality, like we're actually like
we're fun.
your typical Filipino high school students.
This is like a stereotype. They say that we're really boring and serious.
Correct.
That's a stereotype. We're fun to hang out.
Yeah,
with.
we're outgoing.
Yeah, we don't hang out and just talk about like
I mean-
algorithms and like calculus. Like my brain doesn't function that
We
way.
actually like talk about like
we function.
Correct.
We talk about
I mean,
things.
I really don't think we should generalize, but yeah, there are actually I personally think that's the majority of us. We're just normal students.
Yeah.
Normal students who happen to pass at one of the most prestigious schools in the country.
Yeah, I think the name Pisay just makes us like brings brings down like our
The name,
reputation.
I'm bringing the name of Pisay pressures people, and at the same time it gives
And
high
then-
expectations.
An impression on the people.
Yeah.
Like different impression on the people that we are different, but in reality that we're similar to you.
It's actually quite ironic how like the name of Pisay pressures other people into like thinking that we're above average, that like we're better than them. That idea pressures us actually.
I think that gives like the reason why like they get mad at us for not doing.
I do.
Yeah. No, like if they have that thought, I just want to put that out, like no,
Yeah.
we're not actually better than you. Oh
Bro,
please.
I kind of relate to that. Like, remember in 7th grade, like we're all new to the same, we're all new to the topics, right? And then like an old classmate of mine asked me to, how do you solve this? I was like, whoa, it's the same topic as we're like learning at the moment. It's like, I don't know this. Please ask somebody else. It's like, oh, nag-umpisa mo, you should know this. Like,
Huh?
No, we're just the same.
Yeah, to all people out there, I think we just want to clarify that we're actually just your typical high school student, just staying in a
and actually
prestigious
for
school.
me, on that point, I feel pressured because I don't know. And then the fact that they're using the Pisay name, like, oh, taga Pisay, maka you should know this. Like, I feel pressured and sad at the same time. It's like,
I think that's the most like the common thing that people see us is that we're Pisay. We bring the Pisay name. We bring what are expected to be future leaders. So yeah.
Excuse me.
So yeah, I think after like talking about all the positives, negatives, stereotypes, and like our experiences during grade 7, is that Pisay has some pros and cons, and that you should really see it for yourself to decide whether you would want to go into the school. So
and one thing, don't salig on stereotypes.
yeah, don't like just base it off one person.
Yeah.
Like ask other people as well. Like ask your friends from Pisay, besides just one person. Just
Comment
ask-
down if you want to know, if you want to ask some questions.
Like
We
comment
can
down if you want things to be clarified regarding Pisay.
Like, from what I've observed, if I were to like generalize everything I've observed that's special about Pisay, it'd be the government financing. Like, we're definitely prestigious at the right aspect. We're financed by the government. We have better facilities.
We're the taxpayers.
From the taxpayers.
Yes.
From
Yes.
the taxpayers.
We are financed by the taxpayers. Shout out to all the taxpayers out there.
Thank you, taxpayers.
Thanks for making
I
our
love you.
experience
We'll
relatively
make you
better.
proud.
We're gonna use your money wise, not gonna lie.
Yeah. There's that. There's the government financing by the taxpayers. But then there's also the education. Of course, the education is most definitely
The most important
relatively
thing.
better.
Yeah.
And it's the most important thing of all. I mean, it's what we got. It's what we got in for. Our aptitude for
Like
education.
learning.
Like our curriculum is most definitely advanced in some aspects. Well, it's like it's not much. We could be a year advanced in comparison to
Or
other
topic
schools.
advance.
In comparison to other schools. The only subject that I've noticed to have been more advanced in like to a greater degree is like computer science.
Or
Yeah.
like I
I've
don't
been
think
told
it's
that
normal.
our topics in computer science, like
Not gonna lie, throughout like how many years are being computer science? Like 4 years, 5 years?
I know 5 years.
4 years.
4
Ano?
years.
7,
Four.
8, 9, and
4,
10.
four.
Yeah, throughout the
Four.
4 years, I keep failing computer science. It's
Actually
like,
didn't understand anything.
yeah, I'm like
Computer
this is
science
probably
was
the
fun.
only subject I keep like unfocused when the teacher is discussing. It's like, yes, I should listen. Like, and when I execute it's
Like every single teacher,
I can only do a hello world. That's it.
every single teacher has emphasized to us that the topics we're taught at higher computer sciences, like computer science 3 and 4, are like topics that are taught in concentrated computer science courses.
So like, it just shows to you that
There
Pisay
are benefits.
has their pros, cons, and their advantages and disadvantages.
Which means it's just like any other high school out there.
Yeah.
No matter what you see in Pisay, just don't like have much further expectations beyond it. Like, just think of it as just think of it as a high school, just in different settings or like funded differently.
I mean, we're aware that a lot of Pisay representatives have had great achievements in their academic years. Like, of course, we have Ate Hillary,
Of course.
who won the Junior Breakthrough Challenge, I believe, and has been offered many scholarships from foreign colleges and universities. And we've had many other students who won international academic competitions. But to be honest, I just think as Pisay scholars, we're just given more opportunities to excel in those
That's one of the biggest benefits. You have more opportunities, not on the national level, but also in international levels.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I think
We have more opportunities, but I think that other students from other high schools could excel just as much as the students from Pisay.
yeah, of course, because like not everyone has opportunity from Pisay. I think that's everything
And
that
then
we
we're
should.
going to.
We could talk about this all day. We could talk about our experiences in Pisay all day.
So,
I mean,
like,
we've
before
been
the-
there for 5 years.
Before the since we're concluding this, what did you learn today? I mean, like, what is the thing that you have like realized throughout this podcast? Like, what have you gained? What knowledge have you gained from this podcast?
I mean, that's a question we should honestly be asking our
Viewers.
audience,
Our
right?
viewers.
Because
Listeners,
we're just talking about things we already know, things we wanted to get out for a long time as Pisay scholars.
things that I just wanted to get out of my chest.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, guys.
Yeah, that's
if
it.
you have any questions for our next podcast,
You can leave it down below.
feel free to comment it down below.
Our social medias are also down below if we even have any, of course.
And I hope you will still tune into our next episode.
This is Discord Discourse, and we're signing off. Peace, yo.
See you all out there, models of excellence.
Next time you will see Keith.
Umana
Shout out to Keith. Oh my.
Oh my god, umana kita.
Okay, so
Pag mo mag-outro, kaya para mag-delay ako.
so